Everybody, it is Freekbass. Hope you're having a great week so far. Welcome to Bass Talk with Freekbass. We are here every Wednesday night live at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Time. And whether you're watching live or you are watching on the rebroadcast, all good either way. If you're a bass player, please pull up a chair, sit down, grab your bass. If you're just a music fan and you'd like to peek behind the curtain and see what makes us bass players tick, this is the place for you too as well. We cover theory stuff, some technique stuff, combination of both. We do pedal reviews, bass guitar reviews, all kinds of crazy stuff here. But yeah, that's it. And whether you're watching at the Facebook page, which is facebook.com, Freekbass Music, YouTube, the Freekbass channel, over at Twitch at Freekbass. Hello to all of you, and please, if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe, hit the thumbs up if you're digging what you're seeing, live notifications on Facebook, and also please subscribe to the Twitch channel. So that is it, but let's get into it. So if you remember, I think it was last week, we were covering just a real basic major and minor scales. And just some exercises to kind of get yourself familiar with it. So for this week, what I wanted to do, I kind of came up with this little exercise for minor arpeggios. And what's nice about this exercise, and you kind of heard me playing it at the beginning, is not only is it good in terms of getting you familiar with your fingerboard and where the notes are on your fingerboard, but it's a heck of a actually just physical exercise. I mean, you run this a few times, you would definitely feel it in your hands and your muscles in both your right and your left hand too as well. But more important than any of that stuff, you know, one thing I always talk about here on the channel a lot is about how important it is to both become as well as a bass player, getting better as being a bass player, but also getting better at writing bass lines and writing music, because that's where the real excitement really happens as a player. When you start like creating your own bass lines, whether it's for your own music or the band you're in, or just for fun, it's super exciting, because you're like tapping into that muse, which is, you know, that's that magical thing of, you know, like we're not even sure where it comes from, just like this magical force of music, and doing that on your bass is such a really special thing. I think that's really like, that's, you know, listening to bass lines is what got me into playing bass. I'd hear these cool bass lines and I'd be like, oh, wow, I want to try to like do that myself. So this will hopefully help out with that a little bit too as well. And, you know, if you listen to like a lot of you know, I love classical, Bach, Beethoven, Mozart. I have a tendency to kind of gravitate toward more of the darker stuff. Like I love like some of those Mozart Requiem masses that he wrote. I just like the way the arpeggios sound. It's just really, really cool sound. And so I kind of base this around that. And you know, a lot of that stuff, all it is just arpeggios, and they're just putting them in a different order or just a different rhythm. And so what we're going to focus on today is our minor arpeggios. I love minor stuff, and it's a really cool finger pattern too. And it's very easy to do it in a couple octaves too, but we're going to do it using the circle of fifths. Now, I'm not going to go down the severe rabbit hole of what the circle of fifths are. I'll explain it to it as I'm going along. It's a very important part of learning with music and music theory and learning stuff in your fretboard. I'll cover it a little bit today, but we're mostly going to focus on minor arpeggios. Okay, so let's start. What is minor arpeggio? Well, you know, last week we did scales. We were doing, I think, major and minor scales last week. So if you're doing like a minor, let's say a C minor scale, the arpeggio is the root, the third, and the fifth of that scale. So in the case of C, you'd have C, the third note of that scale, 1, 2, 3, that'd be E flat, and then the fifth, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that would be the G. Okay, So, and just listen to that. I mean, that's what's so cool about playing bass is you think you have to have like this, like it's got to be like this magical thing that happens, and part of it is magic, but just playing those notes, listen, just that just sounds cool. I mean, you put a little beat to that, like that sounds pretty dope just by itself. So what we're going to kind of take that theory and we're going to do that in 2 octaves. Now what I'm going to do, it makes it really economical and really easier if you always start each note on the E string, because it gives you a lot more real estate to go across the neck, you know, so you're not having to jump around too much. So like if I did that C minor arpeggio, as opposed to playing it here, if I played it on the 8th fret on the E string, we'd have the 8th fret, which is the C, then we go up to the 11th fret, which is the E flat, that's the 2nd note in the arpeggio. Then we've got the G right here, the 10th fret on the A. Now, when I go to the G, what I'm going to do is I'm going to immediately do a shift, as opposed to going, if I was just playing at 1 octave, I would just do it like that. I use my ring finger for that. Right? But since we're going to do this in 2 octaves, what I'm going to do is index finger, C, pinky for the E flat, but then I'm going to shift up to my index again for the G on the A, because then I can go straight across. Oh my gosh, what we have here, another C, the next octave, mimic that same pattern, up to the pinky for the E flat, that'd be the 13th fret right there, and then you've got the G right there at the top too as well. So now we've got 1 octave, becomes 2 octaves. That's a nice, cool little sounding pattern of it back. And when you do that little shift as opposed to going to here, because if you just did it like this, I mean, yeah, again, that's easy, but then you got to kind of do that weird jump up to the E flat. But if you do, it makes it really, really nice and economical way to get around. So we're going to do that, but we're going to do it in the circle of fifths. Now, all the circle of fifths are, and again, I'm not going to talk extensively about the circle of fifths on this lesson, but basically each time you, like we're starting on C, the 5th above C, if you go, you know, C, D, E, F, G, the 5th of C is G, and then we're going to go to G, the 5th of G, G, A, B, C, D, the 5th. So it's always 5 tones up from the original note you're starting on, essentially, okay? All right, so we got the C, and we're going to use the same finger pattern on all. So we got C. Now we're going to bop down to that G, 3rd fret on the E string. All right, staying on the E string, 3 to 6. Again, same finger pattern. Do that shift to the 5th on the A. Right, straight across to the G again, to the B flat there. Right there. So we got 3, 6 on the E, 5 on the A. 5 on the D, that's the next octave up, 8 on the D, to 7 on the G. We're going to go back and up 2 times, all right? So what's the 5th of G, all right? G, A, B, C, D, all right? So D is the 10th fret on the E string. So we got 10, 13, 12 on the A. Remember, there's that shift again, right? To 12 here. All right, now the 5th of D, D, E, F, G, A. All right, A, 5th fret right here. 5, 8, 7 on the A. There's that little shift. 7 on the D, 10 on the D, to 9 on the G. Yep. All right, now what's A, B, C, D, E? That's easy. That's E, right? So we could do the open E. But I want to keep with the same finger pattern we've been doing. So instead of doing the open E, I want to do the fretted E, which is the 12th fret on the E, double dot, right? 12, 15, 14, but we're going to do that shift. So 12, 15, 14, 14, 17, up to 16 on the G. It's way up there, right? Whoop. All right, now we're going to pop down to the 7th fret. That's the E, F, G, A, B. 5th fret of E is B. 7 to 10. Shift it. 9 on the A. That's the F sharp, which is the 5th of B. Now to the B right there. It's 9th on the D. 12. 11 on the G. That's the real high F sharp. So. Alright, 5th of B is down to F sharp, which is 2nd fret. 5th fret on the E. Now do that shift. Again, we're going, instead of going to the ring finger, we're doing that little shift. And that pinky, that gives you that, you can do that quick, easy shift. Right? Oops, sorry. Then you go straight across to the 4th on the D. 7, 6. Now we're going to be in flat world from F sharp to C sharp or D flat, which is the 9th fret. 9, 12, 11 A, 11 D, 14 G, 14 D, excuse me, 13 G. All right, now we're going to A flat. 4th fret on the E string, 7, 6A, 6D, 9D, 8G. All right, now up to E flat, 11, 14, 13, 13 on the D, up to 13 to 16 on the D still, so 13, 16 to 15 on the, right? 12, 13, 14, yeah, 15. My brain's not working here. I'm starting to see too many numbers floating around in my head. So, all right, and then down to 6, 9, 8, 11, 10. Finally to the F, way down here, big stretch too. 1st fret, 4th fret. Again, there's that shift, not to this, but to this. C, 3rd fret A. Then we got to the D, 3rd fret, 6th fret, 5. And then of course now we're back to C where we started. All the way across. And you see, it's such a nice sound. It's a cool sounding. Besides really giving your fingers a workout, it really gets you familiar with where all those notes are, basically all in one position. It sounds good too. You know, again, put a beat on or a metronome is always a smart thing. I didn't want to use a metronome or beat today because I wanted you to really hear the notes really well. And there you have it. It's a great exercise. If you want to see it here, it just, you know, zazz up ahead at the very beginning of the video. But just try to do it without any stops at all. It just sounds really nice all the way across. Etc., etc. It's really, really nice. Really gives your hand a really nice workout. So minor arpeggios for bass. You cannot play those enough, both for the physicality of it, for the songwriting purposes of it, and also helping to learn your notes on your fingerboard and fretboard too as well. So that's it. Everybody have a great week. I'll see you this Saturday night chit chat, and play more bass. See you soon.